Hi everyone, and welcome to the RESAAS ReboGateway webinar. We're going to get started in just a few minutes. So if you can hear me, please type yes in the chat box. Also, if you haven't yet, please click on the yes, I'm attending button on the Google Plus Hangout page. Right now, there's a very inconveniently timed alarm testing in our building, so our apologies if there's any sort of background noise throughout the webinar. Hi everyone, and welcome to the RESAAS ReboGateway webinar. We're going to get started in just a few minutes, so if you can hear me, please type yes in the chat box. And if you haven't already, please click on the yes, I'm attending button on the Google Plus Hangout page. Right now, there's a very inconveniently timed alarm testing in our building, so our apologies for any background noise. Hi everyone, and welcome to the RESAS ReboGateway webinar. We're going to get started in a couple minutes, so if you can hear me, please type yes in the chat box, and if you haven't already, please click yes on the I'm attending button. Right now there's a very inconveniently timed alarm testing in the building, so we apologize if there's any sort of background noise throughout the webinar. Hi everyone, I think we're ready to get started. So welcome to the very first RESAS Marketplace webinar. Today our webinar is called Power Your Business with Smart Data That Closes Deals. Your presenters are myself, Brianna MacNeil, Global Account Manager at RESAS, and Brian Fox, VP of Business Development at Benutech. Throughout this webinar, you'll be learning more about the RESAS Marketplace and how ReboGateway can help power your business. So we're going to start off with a few housekeeping items. Right now we're using the Google Plus Hangout platform to host this webinar today. And as you can see to the right of your screen, there should be a question bar. Please feel free to ask questions at any time. We'll be answering them at the end of the webinar. You can also ask questions to us on Twitter using the hashtag REEducation or by mentioning @RESAS and ReboGateway. The webinar will be 1 hour maximum, and 2 of today's attendees will receive a 3-month subscription to both Referral Pro and ReboGateway. The giveaways will be drawn after the webinar has ended, and we will email the winners to let them know how they can redeem their prizes. So we're going to start off the webinar with a little bit of information about RESAAS. As you may know, RESAAS is a social and global referral network for real estate professionals. In other words, RESAAS is a social media platform for real estate agents to connect with other agents locally, domestically, and internationally, showcase their listings, generate leads and referrals, answer questions from potential home buyers and sellers, and communicate their industry knowledge to followers online. RESAAS is a dynamic platform that allows leaders in the real estate industry to foster personal relationships. So here are a few quick facts about RESAAS. We support 300,000 users in over 110 countries. The platform supports 13 languages counting with affiliate partners within the marketplace. And we provide a private global referral network for the largest global franchise, RE/MAX International. In today's webinar, we'll be focusing on the RESAS Marketplace, what it is, and how a new partnership between RESAS and ReboGateway will mean an innovative lead generation tool for real estate agents. So the RESAS Marketplace was developed as a result of discussions we were seeing on the platform where we saw agents asking other agents for product referrals. Those conversations then turned into partnerships with the companies that were the focus of these discussions. This has allowed us to offer some amazing products at discounted rates to the RESAS community. One of the main goals of the marketplace is to help educate RESAS users about which products top producing agents are using and which ones are shaking up the industry. So our affiliate partners offer a wide range of products and services that can help improve your business in small or large ways. Some of our partners include up to 37% off of Lenovo with monthly deals on laptops, tablets, and other electronic devices, 10% off BombBomb, a video email tool to connect personally with clients, and $25 off your first ride with Uber. And of course, ReboGateway, which you're going to be learning more about today. This collection of lead users to purchase at a discounted rate to help excel your business. And now to what you've all been waiting for. ReboGateway is a software that mines the internet for data on life events such as divorces, estate sales, for sale by owner filings, probate filings, and more that are matched to property addresses. Knowing this data allows ReboGateway to identify which homeowners in a given geographic area are most likely to sell their house based on years of statistical research. But before I say more, I'd like to introduce our guest speaker for today, Brian Fox, VP of Business Development at ReboGateway. In the past, he has worked as VP of Sales at Survival Insurance Brokerage for a number of years before moving to become a broker and owner of Insight Realty, Inc. From there, he went on to become VP of Business Development and Principal of Benutech, the parent company of ReboGateway, as well as other software for real estate professionals. As you can see, Brian is a seasoned expert in the real estate industry who eventually entered the tech industry to empower agents with valuable data to save your time and money. We're excited to have him join us today as he shares insight into the unique platform that ReboGateway is as a lead generation tool for agents. So I'm just going to hand off the presentation to Brian. Brian, it's all yours.
Hello, everybody. Very good. And can you see my screen now? I want to make sure that everybody can see my PowerPoint and my screen at this point.
Yep, looks great.
Fantastic. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon if you're on the East Coast. I wanted to say, again, thank you to RESAS for putting on this webinar for us. And we'll get started here with the ReboGateway platform so you guys can see what it can do for you and your business. Benutech is the parent corporation or the corporation that created ReboGateway. For those first time being made familiar with this product, Rebo, those first 4 blue letters, is just an acronym for real estate back office. So it's not Robo, it's Rebo. ReboGateway is the product again, and we'll show you how this works with RESAS and everything else that we do. ReboGateway, so first of all, the concept, the idea, so you can understand what it's all about. We start with a base data file. Same thing you can get from a title company, or you can get from a lot of different places. You know, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage on property, that sort of thing. So all of that basic, you know, who owns the property, that sort of stuff, that's where we start. That's our foundation. What we then went out to do that no other data or tech company has done yet, we're the first to do it and still the only ones doing it, is we wanted to match to it any sort of life event. Let's call it a divorce, a profiling, somebody who's in tax default or mortgage default, somebody who's trying to go for sale by owner or having an estate sale at a property. These are all life events, things that happen in the lives of homeowners that ends up a lot of time, and we're going to show you statistically how often, but a lot of times ends up in them selling property. So let's picture it as a realtor, right? And again, what we've done for years and years. Most realtors will farm, or whether it's a geographical area that they're farming, or a social farm, right? Family and friends and, you know, contacts that we've made throughout the years. It's still farming, it's just social farming, right? It's people that we know that we're, you know, keeping in touch with and we're mailing to and we're door knocking or whatever we're doing, right? Well, when you grab large groups of homes together, you can see on the underlined section on the screen now, only 2 to 4% of people that live in geographical areas sell each 12-month period of time. So does farming work? Absolutely it works. Is there a better way? That's what we went out to go search for and create with ReboGateway, and we'll show you why. If we take 500 homes in a farm, typical size of a farm, 500 homes, if 2 to 4% sell, we'll take the middle number being 3%. That means that 15 out of the 500 homes that I'm going to mail to every month and door knock every month, only 15 out of 500 are going to sell this market year over the next 12 months. 485 of those homes aren't selling. Why aren't they selling? Well, they don't have a life event that could cause them to sell. They might have just moved into that property. I mean, there's all sorts of reasons why they don't sell. The ones that do sell, you'll find had a job transfer, have been there, and now they've been there for 25 or 30 years, and now it's time for them to downsize or move closer to the grandchildren. They filed for divorce, and there's equity in the property they need to liquidate in order to make that split. I mean, there's all sorts of things that happen in the lives of people that cause them to sell. So what we did is we grabbed those pieces, those life events, let's say, we deposit them in a database. You can then search by city, zip code, wherever it is in your market area to be able to figure out where are those life events so that I can market, spend time marketing, door knocking, whatever you're going to do, to those addresses as opposed to their neighbors. Why? We'll see here in the next screen. This is why. So in geographical areas are selling. You can see that under no life event farm. We then track divorces, and we were able to come up with a statistic over the past couple of years. When somebody files for divorce, over the same 12-month period of time, 22% of those divorcing couples sold their homes as opposed to their neighbors between 2 and 4%. So if you're going to mail, door knock, call, whatever you're going to do, you have a 10 times better chance getting a listing at that divorce door as opposed to their neighbor's door. Probate filings, similar statistics. 1 out of every 5 over the next 12 months from the time that that probate filing occurs will sell property for sale by owners. 1 out of every 4. So they went for sale by owner. We tracked them. We found them wherever we found them. Craigslist, newspaper, website, we found them. We watched them. Over the next 12 months, 1 out of every 4 hired a realtor just like you to go out and sell their property. So don't get bummed out when you see the for sale by owner sign, right? Get excited about it because, again, it leads to opportunity for realtors more times than not. Mortgage defaults. 1 out of every 2 mortgage defaults led to the sale of property. So, as I said a bit ago, our goal in the beginning was, could we make the acquisition of listings easier for realtors by putting them at the right doors as opposed to the wrong doors? And statistically, we were able to do that. You can see that there on the screen now, right? So we're super excited about how far we've come. 4 years ago, it was a concept, an idea. Yeah, it would make sense that divorcing couples would sell more often. Statistically, it's proven out. The other nice part about these statistics for you to think with is that this is over the first 12 months from when the event occurred. Over 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years, these statistics may go up to 50, 60, or 80%. I don't know. right? But we just wanted to track the first 12 months to match the apples to apples statistic of what happens with the neighbors that don't have a life event. Okay, so totally makes sense to market to these addresses as opposed to the others. Another statistic you're going to see now on the screen is, okay, well, it makes sense, we're at the right doors, but does it really make realtors that have subscribed to this data money? And that's what you're seeing on your screen now. In 2013, and I cannot wait, by the way, for the 2014 statistics, but in 2013, 72, just Southern California, you can see that on the top, just Southern California, our subscribers took this data, then took listings off of this data to the tune of $2.5 billion worth of residential listings sold. If they only represented the seller, not the buyer, just the seller, no dual sides, 3% of $2.5 billion is $76 million worth of commissions that our subscribers were able to pull out of our data. So just so you can understand how we did this, the divorce filing occurred, we put it into our database, we watched only one of our subscribers, not any realtor, just a subscriber of ours, take the listing at that address after the lead went in, and then sold it. So again, not only do we have the right doors, the data really does work for the realtors that subscribe and then use the data, but I'm going to caution you, it's like gym membership, right? The membership doesn't do you a whole lot of good unless you go into the gym. Data is the exact same way, whether it's our data or anybody else's data. It only works if you utilize a tool. So if you're looking for great tools for 2015, if you're looking to really ramp up a great year, find the right addresses to market to, and you are steps ahead, light years ahead of your competition. Okay? All right. As we're going along also, if you have any questions for us, and you guys are all muted, we can't hear you because of background noise and so forth. So if you have any questions, please type them into the chat bar. We're going to be going over, answering all of the questions that we have, as many of them as we can possibly get to at the end of this webinar. So if you do have any questions, please type them into chat or write them down. Write yourself a note where we want to answer the questions and help you through anything that you guys are thinking about with use to the product. Okay? All right. Let's go back to the webinar. So here's what we're looking at. This is the way it looks like if you subscribe. Okay? If you subscribe, it's a very simple and easy process to use. If you can search anything else on the internet, use your bank account or go on whatever to be able to search for something, eBay as an example, right? It's the exact same thing. So here's the way you search. Tell us the territory you want to search. City, zip code, geographical area over multiple cities and zip codes like you're seeing on the screen now. So tell us the territory. That's step one. Step two is, what is the lead type that you're interested in looking at? Is it a divorce? Is it somebody who's in property tax default? Is it somebody with a probate filing? Is it somebody who's being evicted from a property, right? Not for the tenant, but the owner of the property, right, is going through the eviction process, who may need to, just frustrated, going, I haven't been paid in 6 months. This is the second time I've gone through this. I'm just going to sell property, right? So again, life events, right? Tell us the life event that you want to figure out where they're located at, and then the date range for when that life event occurred. So again, 3 steps: territory, lead type, date range, search. We will then show you on a map where those addresses are located at, which you can scroll in and out of. And then down below, bubble number 72 is record number 72. Bubble number 5 is record number 5 down along the bottom, where we're going to give you the APN number associated with the property, the address, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, owner information, phone numbers, a bunch of information so that you can market to each of these properties with knowledge about the property. Not just the address like most data companies will give you. You actually have data to go along with it, and we're going to show you some more of that. All right? All right. So, Rob does work trying to prove this all to you. Here's a lead. It's in California. It's in La Mirada. People that own the property filed for divorce, November 19th, 2013. So let's call that life event number 1. That gives you an opportunity. If you were searching the database for these events, you'd be able to see that event and now start marketing at that door, knowing that 1 out of every 5 of these types of life events lead to the sale of property. So you start your marketing. 7 months later, this same couple went into mortgage default at that property address. So there's life event number 2. 6 days after life event number 2, the property's listed for sale by a realtor. So life event number 1, life event number 2, listed for sale. Okay, simple. Next one, estate sales. I met a realtor for the first time that I asked the question going, hey, not for the first time, but first time in a long time, who follows estate sales? And I had a realtor raise their hand, and I was excited about it because they work. Track the information. Look below. What happens when somebody has an estate sale? Well, if somebody passes away and the property is in a trust, the heirs can very easily sell those properties and call a spade a spade. Heirs don't generally move into properties. They sell those properties, right, when somebody passes away if the property is in trust. So garage sale or estate sale occurs at a property. You can see here, March 8th, 2014, everything's being sold. A month later, it's listed for sale. It's sold 3 months after as a vacant property. Okay? So again, life event to listing, and it's sold. Here's another one. Mortgage default. Clearly an event that leads to property. You can see that, 7/29/2013, listed for sale 40 days after the notice of default, which is the mortgage default in California. We also have list pendants filings on the East Coast, so depending on where you're at on this call, we have both. When that occurs, though, again, it leads to the sale of property. They listed that property and then did sell it. It took 9 months to sell, but it sold. Okay? So 2 ways to get information. This is important, right? So track with me here for a second. 2 ways to get information out of the system. The way that I've shown you this far for life events that have already occurred at property. Okay? Tell us the territory, tell us the lead type, tell us the date range, search. That life event, that divorce or that mortgage default or property tax default that's already occurred, let's figure out some really good lists now to operate rather than just random shotgun blast of information. Let's figure out what addresses to mail to and door knock and that sort of thing. Okay? The other way that we send information out is we watch property addresses. So think with this. By the way, note, this is my favorite part of the entire system. So we watch property addresses. We can watch all of your family and friends. We can watch any of your past clients. We can watch all of the geographical farms that you've been door knocking and calling for years and years. You can upload them into a ReboGateway account, and we will watch them for you. Now, anything that happens in the future at those property addresses, if they filed for divorce in a week, you would get an email telling you that it occurred. So let's look at this lead here on the screen. If this was one of your past clients, a family or a friend or part of your geographical farm, and the property at the 503 Hazel, you can see that in red, when they went into mortgage default on 7/29, I would have gotten an email that said, hey, mortgage default, here's the property address, here are the owners, here's all the information on that property, so I'm in the know and I can actually operate more smart in my farm, smarter in my farm. Does that make sense? Right? So super helpful to watch property addresses, because if you think about it, and I can ask anybody on the screen, if you have a farm, think about it, you have a farm, and I asked you, how do you know when somebody goes into mortgage default in your farm? The answer I always get is, I don't know. How do you know if somebody files for divorce? I don't know. How do you know? I don't know. Would you like to know? Normally that answer is absolutely. That's what ReboGateway does. So 2 things. You can search for past events or watch property addresses for future events. And I'm going to show you a little bit more about that along the way. Okay? So every property, we're going to give you some information. So if you upload records into our system, or identify records in our system, we're going to give you a bunch of information. So phone numbers, if we can find it, you can click on that little blue plus on the right-hand side that's circled in red. Phone numbers. We're going to search 8 websites. We'll run phone numbers. If we can find them, we'll deposit them into the system for you so you can make your phone calls. We'll check the numbers against the do not call list. On the left-hand side, you see scripts that come from the Tom Ferry organization and also the Debbie DeGroat organization, 2 very popular sales trainers. So you can have all their scripts if you don't know what to say to these folks as well. Behind every one of the records, so you look down below where you can see George and Henry and Edwin. If you clicked on those rows, behind that, we'll plot just the one property on the screen, and we will show you all of the neighbors around that subject property, 10-year histories, meaning all loans associated with that property over the past 10 years, any transfers of the property over the past 10 years, sales comparables that you can acquire out of the system, and all of the assessor information too, recorded assessor information on the property. So tax information, bedrooms, bathrooms, when they purchased it, all that sort of thing. So again, one-stop shop to get all of the information you need to market as an agent. Okay? All right. Another great tool in the system. So again, we designed this as a listing tool, a tool to be able to put you in the right doors to take listings, because I've been in the business for a long time myself now. List to last is kind of one of the slogans we've all been made familiar with, right? If you want to last in the real estate business, you have to list. So We designed it as a listing tool, right, to put you in control, to be able to acquire those listings for you. But at the same time, you can now target better with our filters. So I may say two ways to use the filters. I can say, give me divorcing couples that are also in mortgage default as an example, search. Or give me the probate filings that are also in property tax default, search. Or I can utilize it to find homes for my buyer. So let's say I have a buyer that wants to purchase in Cupertino, California. So I would drop the pin there, search the area for anybody with these types of life events that are occurring in the area of Cupertino that my buyer wants to buy in. From there, I'm going to filter down to the bedrooms and bathrooms my buyer is looking to purchase, or square footage, whatever. And now I have a buyer that wants to buy in Cupertino. I have a 20% chance at this door, a 27% chance at this door, a 50% chance at this door that they're going to sell over the next 12 months. So now let me match my buyer and seller together, potentially, right? So that I can now get 6%, both sides of the transaction, as opposed to 2.5% or 3% that I could acquire off of finding a property off of MLS. So lots of ways to use the filtering tool, right? And again, we have lots of training to be able to teach you about how that works, okay? So I want to make sure that you're aware of that as well. Back to my favorite part, here's an email notification, 1 email a day. With each of the subscriptions with a subscription that you would acquire, you would be able to watch 8,000 property addresses. So again, think about it, groups of 1,000, one farm of all of your family and friends, one farm of all of your geographical areas. Watch properties that were purchased at the peak of the market. That is a great list to watch. They have all kinds of life events that happen. They're upside down a lot of times. You'll get email notifications on those properties, putting you at the right place at the right time to really start building a really great lead database for you to acquire these listings, okay? So email notifications once a day, fantastic tool. If you got any questions, again, type them into the chat. We'll answer the questions for you well, okay? ReboGateway subscriptions do work on your mobile devices as well. So it's designed as a desktop tool, either for your Mac or your PC, but it also works on your mobile device. So you could log in. It's now going to look different, but it will now utilize GPS to figure out where you're at and then serve up anything around you that you're looking for. So if you wanted to see the mortgage defaults around you, probates around you, whatever, we'll be able to show that to you as well. And all of that information now is in the palm of your hand. You have, again, all of the owners. You have the history of the property. Again, loans attached to that property, sales comparables, whatever you need to be able to market when you're out in the field, in the palm of your hand as well. Okay? Great tool. All right, we're going to start wrapping it up and start getting to RESAAS and how to use this, because, again, our data works perfectly in the RESAAS system. So think with, obviously RESAAS is an area for you to learn. It's an area to post your listings. In order to post a listing, you need a listing, right? So let's put you at the right doors to acquire them, and then let's put them up on RESAAS to be able to, again, find buyers for properties and that sort of stuff, matches and stuff. So awards and articles, Housing Wire, just top 50 in real estate tech in 2013. 2014, they narrowed that list to the top 25 in real estate tech. They named us to that list as well. In the article that you're looking on the screen, it says two things. One, we're doing something different than anybody else is doing in the real estate space right now with data. And that's still true to this day. We're the only ones doing what we're doing. Okay? It also says what we're doing packs a punch, and it does, because, again, data is going to put you at the right doors. It's putting you at the right places at the right time. People don't generally put a sign in their front yard that says, "I'm in mortgage default. I may need to know my options," or, unfortunately, we filed for divorce. I may need to sell the home in order to make this divorce final, right? Liquidate that equity. They don't do that. So how else do we know as realtors? How do we get smart about who we market to? And this is no different than what Pandora does when they're marketing to you online, right? They figure out where the males and the females and what area you live in and what your age is by your registration, and from there they target ads directly at you. They're not sending the Mercedes-Benz advertisement to the 18-year-old listening to punk rock, right? It's not what they do, right? They're targeting a different person. Same thing you can do with data in ReboGateway when you're targeting for listings, okay? Another great award, something that RESAAS was a part of as well. Both of us, RESAAS and ReboGateway, Benutech ReboGateway, was named as a finalist for Innovator of the Year Award for 2014, right? So huge award, and again, just goes to show you guys are on the right platform with RESAAS, right? And all we're trying to do is give you some insight onto a tool that's now included into RESAS Marketplace in Benutech's ReboGateway. right? And what we do is we're going to put you at the right doors to take those listings. So the two really work very, very well together. But again, we're both proud. RESAAS and Benutech are both proud of what we're doing there as well. Okay? Now, special discounts, as was discussed at the beginning of the webinar. There's special discounts for you as a RESAAS customer. Let's give you something special. So what we're doing for everybody that subscribes to ReboGateway from the RESAAS platform or from this webinar, we're going to give you one of, well, it's actually not one of, it is our most popular add-on tool, and it's called the Tract utility. Now, we haven't talked about it as of yet. It's an extra $120 on a normal subscription. Okay, so it's an extra $120 for the year on a normal subscription. You guys get it for free because you guys are RESAAS customers if you choose to subscribe, right, on to ReboGateway. So I'm going to show you what that does. What the Tract utility do, so it is, I've told you so far, the Tract now groups homes together by either the census tract that the home is a part of or the property tract that the home is built into. So that's how we group them together. We then count up the number of homes, let's say 50 homes in the tract, and if there's been 4 sales over the past 12 months, that would be an 8% turnover rate, right? 4 sales out of 50 homes is an 8% turnover rate. So now we rank the tracts from the highest turnover rate to the lowest turnover rate based upon what sort of tract you want to look at. I was just at a sales coach training last Friday, Debbie DeGroat, and they were talking to their students, the people that they coach, about the first thing you want to do when you're going to create a farm is find a turnover rate of 7% or higher. You find 7% or higher, you start marketing into that area. It's a very difficult thing to do, very time consuming. It becomes simple with the Tract utility. Very simple. Okay? So you understand what we're doing with it. Again, we rank the tracts, as you can see. I have a potato button there, sorry guys. And you can see we rank the tracts from the highest turnover rate, depending upon the area. We plot them on a map so you can see where they're at. Then behind those rows, we're going to show you every homeowner that lives within that tract. So now not only could you figure out where turnover rate is high, so you can, again, build better farms and create more listings for yourself, we're going to tell you all of the names of the people. You can export that information. You can save it within a ReboGateway account. We can narrow the list down to just the empty nesters, which are people that purchased homes over 20 years ago. May not want to market to everybody in the tract, just the empty nesters, or just the investors in the property, that sort of thing, right? So you can now sort the list the way you want to sort the list in this system as well, and we're going to give you all of the tract analytics just on that tract as they're grouped together, the biggest home, the smallest home, the median-sized home. So when you are calling on these folks, you know a lot about their property, and so you're not just calling saying I want to take a listing. You actually know something about their property. You can comp their property better for them, that sort of thing. So again, it's our most valuable add-on tool. You guys get it for free with the ReboGateway subscription based upon your subscription, not subscription, but your membership with RESAAS. Okay? So that's what we're doing. Again, questions and that sort of thing I want to be able to go over, but first I want to go over into pricing, which you can see on the screen now, and then also training. Okay? So the way that we price this product, it's about the same price as what you would pay for your, at least when I was doing it, when I was selling real estate still, it's what I paid for a website. How much business did I get from my website? Almost minimal, right? I got very little, if any, business from my agent website. And that was before Trulia and Zillow really hit the ground, right? Where do buyers go now to get information? Zillow and Trulia. So if you're looking at a swap of money, this will get you a heck of a lot more business. ReboGateway will get you a heck of a lot more business than an agent website. Okay? So think with that for a second. It's $400 for the year. It works out to $32 a month, but it is paid at one time. That gives you access to every property in whatever county it is that you want to subscribe to. Okay? Every property you could look up for life events, all the loan information, basic information on the property, whatever you want to look up, you can look up. 8,000 property addresses we're going to watch for you and tell you about new life events that happen in the future at those property addresses. We're not going to charge a setup fee for you as well. So again, being a RESAAS member, no setup fee as well. With this comes a ton of training. We have video tutorials online to watch for hours. We also provide live one-on-one training with each subscription. 30 minutes one-on-one. You're going to drive the mouse, and what do you want to learn? We're going to show you, our trainer will show you where to go and what to do, how to be able to set up your account, okay? So we have one-on-one training. We also do webinars like this live 3 times a week that you can jump on as often as you want to be able to get more training on your system. We have phone support, and we also have chat support within the system. So there is no way you won't be able to use the system. It's just going to be based upon you now to be able to get in there and figure out who do you want to look at, how do you want to set up your mailing list, how do you want to set up your call list, and get going with your data and being smarter about what you're doing as an agent. Okay? So that's what we're doing. Again, I want to thank RESAAS for I'm going to go through a few more things regarding RESAAS and then also answer all sorts of questions for you guys as well. Okay? So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask those. And we're going to jump back to Brianna and Island.
Hi, Brian. That was great. Can you hear me okay?
Thank you. I can hear you great.
Perfect. So I'm sure you can all see we're very excited to be partnering with ReboGateway. As Brian mentioned, you can purchase ReboGateway with a free Tract utility add-on with a $120 value exclusively through the marketplace because of your membership with RESAAS. So there are a number of ways to access the marketplace within RESAAS. The primary method is to use the drop-down menu in the upper right-hand corner of the platform, and then you can just click on Go to Marketplace, which is highlighted in that green rectangle right there on the screen. You can also click on one of the Marketplace ads on the right-hand column or on the Marketplace link in the footer anywhere within RESAAS. So once you actually get to the Marketplace platform, partners are listed in alphabetical order. And you can purchase the deal by clicking on Buy Now, which will take you to our co-branded landing page. So we always have new and exciting partners being added to the marketplace. Keep an eye out on social media to hear about when we have new partners. Again, our deal with ReboGateway is the $120 add-on Tract utility. So again, thank you for joining us. We know some of you had some issues with audio, so just so you know, we'll be following up with a recorded version within an email later today. As a reminder, giveaways will be drawn following the webinar, and winners will be contacted today with further information on how to claim their prizes. We'll be moving on to the question portion, so please feel free to add questions to the question bar on the right-hand side of the screen. So Brian, we have a number of different questions here. The first one is from Christoph Boyer, and his question was, how do you know when someone is getting a divorce or getting into mortgage default?
We mine for that information. So the divorce information comes direct from the courthouses, and we base the insertion into our system based upon when they file for divorce. Because once the divorce is final, many times what they're going to do with their home has already been decided. So it's based upon the filing. Again, we grab that information from courts. If we can match it to property, we match it, we deposit in the database, and they can find it within the system. Mortgage defaults is similar. Some of that we mine for on our own. Some of it we get from a data provider that provides it to us as well. But in both cases, if we can match it to property, we deposit in the database for your search.
Awesome. Thanks, Brian. So the next question, we have 2 questions from Robbie English. The first one is, where can you find training? My sales associate didn't tell me anything about the training.
Training's found online. So as soon as you log into the system, there is a green button on the left-hand side of the screen. One of them says training, one of them says chat. So if there's just a question, click on chat, ask the question, or call us. Our phone numbers are located at the bottom of the screen once they're logged in. And I'll give the phone number here in a second as well. Also on the left-hand side, that training button. So if that's selected, the next 3 upcoming webinars are there with links that you can register to and sign yourself up for and watch. They're free. They're live. You can ask questions on those webinars. There's also a link in that same training pop-up that will happen that says one-on-one training, and you can select that and get one-on-one training as well. So again, no shortage of training and support for you guys as members, as customers. The phone number for us, and this phone number can be utilized for sales. It can also be utilized for customer service, either one. But our phone number, if you want to write it down, is 866-887-0206. Again, 866-887-0206. You may want to call and figure out, okay, what does this look like in my market area? We can do that. There's also a link that we're going to provide into the chat area where you can actually just select the link on the screen and then book it. We'll have a calendar that will pop up, and you can actually book a one-on-one demonstration of our software at your convenience. So you can do it today, tomorrow, whenever, right? But just select that calendar, select one of our inside sales representatives, and they can show you what it looks like in your market area as well. Okay, so we'll post it on the screen.
Awesome. And yeah, we just actually posted that in the Q&A box on the right-hand side. So there's information and the links for the one-on-one demos as well as the guides. And we've also included the phone number there.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. So the second question from Robbie English is, you said it's available on mobile but did not show it in the presentation. Can you please talk a little to mobile with ReboGateway?
Yes, absolutely. It's not an app, so don't go to the App Store trying to find it. It's not going to be in any of the app stores. It's mobile optimization is how we currently enabled the mobile device. So essentially utilizing your Safari browser or on an Android device, whatever browser you're using, type in www.rebogateway.com. It will then bring up the website, our website, log in as you normally would. It's going to recognize the fact that you're on a mobile device. Based upon that, it's going to look differently. There's bigger buttons, and we did it so you don't have to keep enlarging the screen, utilizing your thumb and your pointer finger, right? So it basically is larger buttons to be able to navigate through it. So it's mobile optimization. It's easy to use. If you have a subscription, it sounds like he does, just log into that and you'll be set.
Perfect. So we have a question from Marina Williams. Is this mainly in the U.S.?
Yes, today it is only a United States product, and we've really concentrated on the most major metros for now. So again, if you have a question, does it work in your market area, again, select that link in the chat box to be able to get a demo in your area, or call our office, right, and get a demo to be able to see what it's like in your area. But yeah, nothing outside of the United States yet.
Perfect. So we have another question from Cheryl Woods Flowers. She noticed that the pricing is for one county. How much is it to add another nearby county?
Nearby counties are $180 for a second county, so less than half price for the second county to be added on. If you contact, again, our inside sales staff either by the link or by phone, right, they may be able to, if they have anything else better going right now, they'll let you know. But I believe it's $180 per additional county is what's currently being offered today.
Okay, awesome. And so the last question we have right now is from Billy Runyon. What is the best contact method, mail or phone, for these leads?
You know, that all depends upon you. You know, if from all of the coaching that I've acquired, all of the coaching that I go to a lot of the coaches' events because, again, they like to promote our product. And when I go to those places, door knocking by far will get you the best results. It's personal. It's 3D, right? You're in front of them. They can see you. They can kick the tires, so to speak. They know who you are. So by far the best is face-to-face, right? Door knocking. Mail and phone calls and everything else, and now it's a crapshoot. I mean, some people are going to mail because it's easier. It doesn't require, I guess, as much guts, let's say, right? So it's easier to mail. And there's certain aspects to mail that's great. I mean, the branding aspect of it's good. But if I was going back into the business tomorrow, I'd start by door knocking because it's the quickest, fastest, least expensive way to go about, you know, creating business. So that's how I would start it. And another thing too, and I know that it was posted, Brianna posted it on the right-hand side of your screen, which is the Quick Start Guide. That Quick Start Guide will give you all of the steps to be able to really kind of go through our process. So it's kind of like, okay, I subscribe to ReboGateway and I unwrap it. You know, what do I do? What's the first thing I do? Well, the first thing you should do is figure out which 8,000 properties you want us to watch, and we give you within that Quick Start Guide, you know, what I would watch. I mean, this is what I would do. This is what I would do. This is what works out to give you the best results. These types of properties. One of them being people that bought at the peak of the real estate market, right? So let's watch them. But anyways, it gives you the examples. From there, it goes, okay, what's your monthly budget? Because if you're going to mail, don't mail just one time. That doesn't work. Right? You got to consistently mail to people. So what's your monthly budget? Is it $100, $150? If it's 150, that's about 215 mailers. So let's mail to 215 of the 8,000 that we're going to watch. Well, how do I determine the best 215? That's in the Quick Start Guide. And then it will go through, okay, from there, let's look up phone numbers on that system so we have another way to reach out to them. And then it goes about, you know, okay, good, let's get the mail out, but now let's break that list down into 21 days worth of work, 21 work days in a month. Let's break it down to, okay, that's 10 people a day. I got to door knock 10 a day. I'm mailing to them, so I'm going to touch them multiple times a month, and you're going to start building your brand and building your business incrementally. So the Quick Start Guide is really cool. It's super popular. It's free to all you folks, all your RESAAS members, right? You get it. But take a look at it because it really does kind of start you at someplace. If you want to enhance it, but at least it's a good starting point for you utilizing data in your business. So anyways, take a look at it if you could.
Awesome. Thanks for the information, Brian. We have another question from Robert Williams. Brian, were you saying that it's better to use for an agent to not use an agent website and use ReboGateway instead?
I'm giving you my opinion as a real estate agent, realtor, broker. I'm giving you my opinion. I got very little business from my agent website. And again, that was even before Zillow and Trulia really took legs and did what they're doing, which is really all buyer leads, right? I mean, they sell ads to people, and that's where a lot of buyers go to find properties these days. So if they're not going to come to my website to use it to find property using an IDX feed and that sort of stuff, this is going to it's going to tell me all of the things that I can't find anyplace else on the internet. I can't figure out where divorces are at or probates, and then, like I said earlier, there's no flags in the front yard showing me which addresses those are occurring at. So yeah, I can use this data to acquire a lot more business for myself than an agent website, my opinion. My opinion also happens to be on the Benutech side. So take it for what it's worth, but I really do believe that wholeheartedly.
Perfect. Thank you, Brian. We're just going to wait a couple more minutes and see if there's any more questions. So please feel free on the right-hand column if you have any last questions. It would be great if you could add them now.
Cool. And if I could add a couple things, Brianna, as we're waiting for any more questions to come. Other questions we get asked a lot: how often is the data updated? The answer to that question is every day. So every night we go out to find new records, deposit them into the system so you can search daily, in addition to weekly, monthly, yearly, or whatever you want to do. So that's an important thing. You can export the records out of the system if you want to export them and then import them into a dialer or import them into a mail company like a postcard company. You could do that as well. We also have links to postcard companies within our product system, so you can actually quickly move the records without having to map the information different places. Lots of cool tools to be able to use it, and I guess really data. And Brianna, I know that you know this, right? But just for our users and stuff and the viewers on this, data is somewhat new. Over the last couple of years, you've been seeing a lot of stories on big data and the use of data in not just the real estate market, but in any market, right? All companies are advertising and targeting advertisements utilizing data. We're targeting potential sellers utilizing data. It's not going away. It's like 15 years ago when computers came around, right? And yeah, I was in the business back then, right? But okay, so when that happens, right, and you have people going, oh, I'm never going to use a computer. I like my paper files. Well, 15 years later, everybody uses computers because it does make our jobs easier when they work, right? But it makes it easier. Data is the exact same way. Data is somewhat new. 10 years from now, everybody will be utilizing data in their businesses because it just makes sense and it makes us smarter about where we spend our money and spend our time. So that's the cool part about what we're doing with ReboGateway.
Exactly. I definitely agree that sales and marketing, the future of sales and marketing lie with data. So it's really exciting that Benutech is kind of offering this for the real estate industry as well as RESAAS with our analytics through Referral Pro. We have another question from Ricardo Ramirez. He's just wondering if New York City is an area you feature.
New York City is a bit limited on court records, and that's one of the things that we're limited to, is what is available and what's not. And I know New York City, it depends on the borough, so you probably want to call our office to get a demo in that New York City area, depending upon the area that you're in. But we're somewhat limited. There's very strict laws on court record information in that area. So today, check and see what we have available. If you're happy with it, go ahead and subscribe. If you're not, check back with us because things change all the time. So something to be aware of for him as well.
Perfect. So this is going to be our last question today from Robert Williams. After a search is made, is ReboGateway data downloadable in Excel?
Yes, it's downloadable in Excel. One of the things that we're going to, and again, you want to do a search, right? So city of blah blah to lead type, date range, search, it brings back 200 records. Those can be exported. They can also be saved into your database online. If it's saved into your database, into your ReboGateway account, we constantly update that record, those 200 property addresses, as we just talked about. We update them for changes of ownership, any sort of change in that property, we're going to update. If you export it to Excel, then we don't update it, right? Because it's an Excel file. But if you need to export it to put it into a mail company or a postcard company, I understand, or to a dialer, totally get it. Yes, that does work all day.
Excellent. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Brian, do you have any final notes before we sign off?
No, I want to thank you guys for again putting it on. Subscribe to ReboGateway, get a lot of cool data, a lot of listings, and load RESAAS with all your new listings. That's what I hope for everybody.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian. And as promised, we'll be following up later today with a recorded version of the webinar, as well as all the starter guides for RESAAS and ReboGateway and information to sign up for demos for both. We'll also be following up with the winners of the 3-month subscription to Referral Pro and ReboGateway later this afternoon. So thank you all so much for joining us, and be sure to check out the Marketplace and ReboGateway. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks.